Get out.
Welcome to CBR. Armor Wars, which had been originally conceived as a Disney Plus series, could be one of Marvel's projects in development right now. Back in 2022, Marvel announced that Armor Wars would be adapted into a feature film. Since then, there has been no further news, but Marvel did announce a number of yet untitled projects for 2026 and 2027. Today, we are discussing the most plausible plot theory for a Phase 6 Armor Wars movie. Background: Armor Wars revolves around James Rhodes, also known as War Machine. Since his introduction in Iron Man, Rhodey has been a supporting character and friend to Tony Stark. First portrayed by Terrence Howard, the role was later taken over by Don Cheadle in Iron Man 2. Since then, Cheadle has become a long-term face in the MCU. Over the years, Rhodey has gradually become more important to the Avengers team. Despite this, Rhodey has remained a supporting character, often in the shadow of Tony Stark. But in Armor Wars, Rhodey will finally be the protagonist. The film would explore Rhodey's evolution as a hero, now taking over responsibilities from his late friend Tony Stark. With the narrative focusing on Stark's technology falling into the wrong hands, Rhodey needs to prevent catastrophic consequences. In the 1987 Armor Wars comic book storyline, Tony discovers that his armor designs have been stolen and sold to villains. Outraged, Tony embarks on a mission to reclaim his stolen tech. In the MCU, Rhodey would be the one left to defend Stark's legacy in this scenario. Rhodey would start off the movie in a terrible place. After the events of Avengers Endgame and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he is kidnapped by the Skrulls in Secret Invasion. Skrulls are a technologically advanced species of reptilian humanoids, already seen in the MCU in movies like Captain Marvel and shows like Secret Invasion, Loki, and WandaVision. These alien beings are at the center of the Armor Wars events. Skrulls have shape-shifting abilities, and they replace Rhodey with an impersonator during the time he's in captivity. In Episode 4, Secret Invasion reveals that the Rhodes that had been appearing in the miniseries is not the real him, but a Skrull who's working with Gravik. The Skrull impersonating Rhodey is a woman named Ra'ava. In Episode 6, the finale, Rhodes is shown in a pod, being kept alive by the Skrulls so they could access his memories. Gia saves Rhodey along with scientists and political leaders who were replaced by Skrulls during their secret invasion. Plot theory. This is where Armor Wars would start. Upon coming home, Rhodey would discover that several Stark Industries or government projects were sabotaged while he was replaced by a Skrull. With Stark tech circulating in the black market, several individuals and organizations would rise to power by replicating or enhancing Tony's designs. New and existing characters could be introduced in Act 1, like Riri Williams. The Armor Wars movie would take place after the events of the upcoming series Ironheart, expected to be released in 2025, which will establish Riri as a main character in the MCU. Paranoid from his experience with the Skrulls and dealing with a lot of pressure, Rhodey might initially not trust Riri or even antagonize her. He would mistake her innovative armor for stolen Stark tech, considering the outstanding quality of the suit. But after a confrontation, Rhodey would realize that Riri is a self-made genius like Tony. This could lead to a mentor-mentee relationship and a game-changing team-up. The stakes would escalate as Rhodey discovers that not only are villains using Stark tech, but it's been weaponized on a global scale, causing a world war. Soldiers now have their own iron armors, endangering billions of people and causing irreparable damage to cities. War Machine and Ironheart will have to lead their own army in order to stop all parties from using Stark technology. Inspired by a Marvel Comics storyline from 1983, seen in Iron Man number 167 to 170, Rhodes could face a dilemma. His War Machine suit could be compromised or simply not be strong enough to deal with the current threat. He no longer has Iron Man's help, but several of Tony's Iron Man suits have been left unused since he passed. Both War Machine and Ironheart would have a much bigger role in the MCU by the end of Armor Wars, from which they would emerge as two of the most beloved heroes on Earth 616. Ironheart would emerge as a widely recognized superhero in her own right, possibly leading to a leadership role in future MCU projects like Young Avengers. Rhodey's actions in recovering Stark technology could have unforeseen consequences, perhaps catching the attention of Kang the Conqueror or Doctor Doom, linking the events of Armor Wars to other events in the multiverse saga. One final twist would of course come in the post-credits scene. Armor Wars should have a positive ending to mark a triumphant moment for James Rhodes in his first leading role, but the post-credits scene could tell viewers things are not as great as they seem. Post-credits and aftermath. A mysterious figure could be seen accessing a hidden vault of Stark's most dangerous technology, something top secret in a location perhaps not even Rhodes knows about or can access. In the last seconds, this figure is revealed to be Victor Von Doom, whose use of magic helps him to break into the vault. Since Armor Wars' main themes would be Tony Stark's legacy and the intentions with which people use technology, Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom seems like the perfect villain to make a last-minute cameo, with this key moment of Doom stealing something from a Stark vault adding to how powerful he becomes in the Avengers movies. And whether the audience sees the face behind Dr. Doom's mask or not, it's very plausible for Doom to be heavily invested in Tony Stark's technology. As the MCU moves further into the multiverse saga, Armor Wars could stand as a big event on its own, but feel like a more grounded war in comparison to the cosmic threats that will make up the Secret Wars storyline. It could also be more grounded in terms of being set on Earth 616, similar to what Thunderbolts will represent in Phase 5, closing the current MCU era in 2025. In Phase 6, Armor Wars could be one of 5 movies. Among the already announced The Fantastic Four First Steps, Blade, Avengers Doomsday, and Avengers Secret Wars, the Armor Wars movie would likely be the only one to be set entirely on Earth 616. In brief, we think Armor Wars will be an emotionally driven story about the impact of one man's genius and the responsibility of those who follow in his footsteps. The Armor Wars event has the potential to be an emotionally charged and action-packed addition to the franchise, focusing on James Rhodes' evolution from a supporting hero to a central figure in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A movie with James Rhodes as the protagonist would make a lot of sense, since he has been a part of the MCU longer than most characters. Armor Wars would allow Rhodey to finally step out of Tony's shadow, protecting his late friend's legacy while creating a new one for himself. With the appearances of characters like Riri Williams and Ezekiel Stane, the MCU would also be addressing how Tony Stark's legacy is immeasurable. Along with a global-scale crisis involving Stark's inventions, Armor Wars promises to be a grounded but intense story. Are you excited about an Armor Wars movie? What would you like to see in it? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, thanks for watching CBR.